Hello, you wild and crazy guys. How's it going, you wild and crazy guys? I have no idea how I'm gonna start any of these fucking episodes. So
how wild and crazy of you.
Wild and crazy guys 2 times in a row, I think, is a very strong start.
And then kind of doing one in a weird accent. I think that's a good way to start. I think I might keep that's a keeper.
Yeah.
I think
The audience is primed for how bizarro this episode's gonna be.
Certainly, how
these
wild
two
and
are
crazy
the
we are.
weirdest, craziest guys. That's why I brought them back, because their episodes are so weird and crazy.
Right.
So yeah, you both have been on the podcast before. Why don't we just do very quick, starting with you, James. Just who are you, real quick?
Hi, my name is James Roach. I'm a musician and composer, sound all-around audio person online. I did some work in cartoons, did some work on some other stuff. Let's not get into that. And yeah, I've known Sungwon because I think we met through Vine, and we're all good friends. I know Elvis too, not through Vine though, just through friendship.
And we're not good friends as
yeah, and I hate it.
We're not good friends,
and he fucking sucks.
All right, okay, and Elvis.
Me, I'm Elvis. I work adjacent to film, web video, unfortunately advertising most of the time. And I don't know, I make stuff sometimes they're like little short films, sometimes I make Mario Maker levels, I make a lot of mischief for my friends, most importantly. And I've known Sungwon for a very long time. I don't remember how we met, but that's not an important story for today.
Actually, it might be. You don't remember how we met?
No, obviously I remember how we met.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't know if you remember the specific conversation or anything, but I remember. Yeah. Anyway.
I thought you said me am Elvis, like some bizarro Superman. Like me am Elvis.
Me am Elvis.
Me am Elvis.
Just living up to the wild and crazy
yeah, what's this
promise.
bit? This is new.
Yeah, you didn't know Elvis is something that's just bizarro.
Yeah.
Every now and then. Yeah, well, Elvis and I go back to Mario fanfiction days.
That's right.
Did we talk? But did we talk about like our first interaction ever?
Yeah, more interested in the interaction. I did. It's like, oh, you guys like Mario? You've never ever mentioned it.
Yeah. That's never ever.
I can't recall. I spoke to so many people in those days. That was such a big name.
That's right. You were a big, wild, and crazy guy back then.
Remind me.
I'm pretty sure it was David who introduced us.
Of course.
Because back then I knew mainly him and another person. And I remember you were the have we gone into your persona
I don't think
back then?
Need to
Let's
do
talk
that.
about the I would love to hear about
Is that
Elvis's persona
the conversation
from online. No, please.
I mean, do you actually not want me to say anything? Have we not at this point? I thought we did.
What kind of guy were you online, Elvis?
I was a Daniel Day-Lewis when it came to my performance.
That's a good way of putting it. Like I can give the vague version. I can be respectful and say nothing, or I can say everything. Elvis, it's your
You could
call.
say it all.
It must be in puzzle pieces across different episodes and Let's Plays at this point.
This is the actual egg hunt.
Yes.
Is piecing together Elvis's personality from the early '90s, etc.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'll just say that we were on Mario, forums.
No.
So you'd pick a Mario character. Usually, most people would pick an OC. I decided to go, with an actual character, an obscure character known as Chef Tort from the wonderful Super Mario RPG, and I'll just say I was very in character the entire time. If you know what that character is like, you know what that means.
Okay, I think that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah, if you are familiar with who Chef Tort is from Mario RPG, which none of you are,
Nobody has ever heard of this character.
Nobody knows what we're talking about. But if you did, yeah, maybe our friend here would even type like how that character might talk. Anyway, yeah, I remember we first talked through AIM. Remember AIM? Remember AIM, kids? You don't, because you weren't alive.
Sure.
And you were very like, hello, like it is I, but friendly. You were friendly. It was like, I don't know if you had any perception of who I was at the time, but I knew who you were.
Of course.
And it was yeah, and it was like, oh, it's I'm talking to the famous Chef Dog. Oh,
yeah.
Oh mon Dieu.
That's how you heard it in your head.
Would you like to do it?
Yeah. Do you have an even more outrageous French accent for us?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Apparently, I didn't do it justice. So,
well, why don't you? You can take a few voice acting pointers.
Yeah.
From Elvis
yeah. Why don't you give me some critique, some direction?
Elvis
is like, I did not sign up for this shit.
Fuck you guys.
If I give you my interpretation of the character, that'll just color your performance too much. You don't want to do an imitation.
Yeah, of course.
I would love to do an imitation, actually, but
what? So hold on, like, what was the roadmap of your guy? Because I can very clearly like think of eras of my like online personality, where it's like, oh, when I was a kid, I was like, my screen name was like my initials and my birthday. I was like that, like, I was like, JR85, like sort of like, and it was just like, oh no, like, because there was no. The idea when I was like young internet, like the idea of like an online predator was not anything that had not happened yet. I was typing to like old dudes in DOS being like, hello. And they're like, how old are you? This is my dad's computer.
I do actually have a legitimate question of this, because I don't know if we've talked about why, like, what was your thought process in choosing Chef Tort? Was it just like, I'm going to pick that character? Did you have an affinity for baking? I'm legitimately like curious. Like what was it about that character where you were like, yeah, I'm gonna take this one?
I think part of it was a time and place thing, because obviously I didn't have the greater plans for that character when I started using the name. But like I started using the name, before becoming the mask, as it were. So it was it initially just was a screen name, but very super early in the, me getting into the forum days, it became a.
Was this on Lemmy's Land?
This was pre-Lemmy's Land.
Oh shit! Where was this?
I don't even remember. It might have. I don't know. I think
like was it a Mario forum of some kind?
No, it was like a generic video game forum. I don't remember what it was called.
Oh, okay.
And it probably spilled a little bit over into Nintendo Writer. And then Lemmy's Land.
Sure. I see.
And it just became apparent like that, RPing was a thing that people did with their posts and whatnot. And I don't know, I just kind of like spur of the moment. I was like, all right, I'm going to reveal, like, I think someone was like, but you're Chef Torch. And I'm like, yes, I am. And then I became, I was like, I'm just going to go in character for the rest of it. It's funny to me. But why him specifically? I think it was just a time and place. I had probably just played the game recently, or was like I don't know. It's always been my favorite sequence in the game, Mario RPG. So,
because
there's a cake in it, right?
Oh, there's a cake. It's also like, I mean, you got Booster, you got Bowser, you're saving Peach. It's a wild scene.
So you big cake.
Yeah, it is a good scene.
Big cake fan, Elvis?
The cake's pretty cool, but it's not like any specific thing. Just like, it's in terms of standard gameplay structure, especially like a Mario RPG structure, which you'd obviously see more with the later games. That whole sequence is such a non sequitur. It's like way more character driven, because it's like, we're not getting any stars or MacGuffins here. We have to go save Peach, which granted is like the normal thing to do in Mario, but it was such an interesting like I don't know, diversion twist on the formula. I just really have always enjoyed that sequence, and one of the more fun boss fights, I think.
Okay, James, you played Mario RPG, right?
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about it because I'm not like the. I realized actually after like hanging out with you guys and like hanging out with like especially Dave, I don't play video games the same way that you guys play video games. Where like it's like, you know, there would be games where I would sit there and I would read like the books and stuff. Like I read the manual to like Snow Bros Junior or whatever like 1,000 times, and not like any of it sunk in. But it's like you guys and like Dave and like, you know, the general like the Mario group of people like just absorbed all of these things. Like even, you know, another friend of mine was really into like the Kirby stuff, and another friend of mine was really into like Earthbound and stuff like that. And it's like those are all games that I played and I enjoyed, and I even like read the lore and like, you know, like stuff like the first big one for me was Final Fantasy, you know, where I'm just like, whoa. But I think that's just like we've talked about it before, where that's just like I really like fantasy and like knights and stuff like that. And like I know that's like you're just like whatever, don't care, like it's fine.
I found out semi-recently, I guess, that Youngie was a huge Kirby fan.
I didn't know that either.
Like to the level that we are with Mario. I mean, well, maybe not that far, but like I mean, like enough where he's like, oh yeah, I know the name of that boss. I know the name of that, you know, like that, because I've been playing like Kirby's Adventure and Kirby Superstar. I beat those for the first time. And yeah, like he definitely was like a Kirby fan, which is always interesting to me because I always thought Kirby was cool in the, you know, periphery, but I didn't play it enough where I was like, I memorized all the names, which is funny because you think about it and like there are a lot of similarities, like, you know, in enemy kind of design and like, I mean, I remember even. Is it Gordo that appears in Mario Land 2? I don't know if it's specifically Gordo. Do you even know who Gordo is, James?
Nope.
Elvis, well, you know who Gordo is, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he's the...
All right.
Oh, you don't fucking know. Stop Googling.
It's attached. I have a visual in my... He has a eyeball. I can't remember. I know he's like a squishy little guy, but they're all squishy little guys.
No.
Oh, no,
Gordo
the spiky
is the
guy.
spike ball.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And it's either there's something very similar in Mario Land 2 that is like almost the same. Let me.
Anyway, but yeah.
No, not anyway.
Oh,
I'm on this topic right now.
Whoa. Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, they're called. Well, Unibo are, I guess they're similar. Yeah, it's called Unibo in Mario Land 2, but. They are very similar looking to Gordo. Like if I showed you one, you'd think, oh, it's a Gordo because they had eyes and spikes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, it's interesting that I guess I just didn't have access to those games. I mean, I played Mario first. That's really, I think, what was the big part of it was. Played so many of them, had the manuals for them. The manuals were the big thing.
I think like every like kid kind of like picks a thing that they're just really into. Like I'm always really impressed with the people who are into like warrior cats, because I was like, what the hell is that? You know, but they're like, and they're so into it too, and it's like, whoa. So yeah,
people who are into warrior cats, that's like me. That was me with like Redwall, if you know what Redwall is. Yeah, I loved Redwall, and I think it was like Suha and Laura were like big Redwall people, and I was like, wow, I've never met anyone who knows.
Yeah, if you're a Redwall fan, leave a comment down below.
Yeah, yo, Redwallers out there,
where my wallhead's at.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of an interesting topic we could kind of dive into. Is anything from your, doesn't have to be childhood specifically. It could even be now, right? But let's say stuff that you're into that you rarely find other people who like know what that is. Like for me, that, you know, like Redwall, it's like people might know like I heard of those, but it's very hard to find people who are like, oh yeah, I read like all of those books. Like they know it to the level you do. Is there anything like that for either of you where you're like,
You and I shared one, Sungwon, where I think we both were like, I cannot believe that you have heard of this, and it was a bonus stage where we were just
my god, what that's right.
Like what?
That's right.
It's like weird, like web. Like if anybody tells me it's like, oh, they spent a lot of time on like Newgrounds or like even like E-Bombs World, and like you know, it's like I have a friend who can like quote this like ... a review by X-Men 13 like like, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is crazy. I can't believe anyone else remembers that. Yeah, I think that was our big one, was bonus stage, which is not like good. I don't know. It was
it was, I mean, it was at the time, it was, you know, fun.
Yeah.
I devoured all web comics and webtoons, or they're not even called web. What are they called now? They're called webtoons. Like that's a different thing, isn't webtoon?
Yeah,
that's the Korean thing.
Yeah, webtoon is
like Flash cartoons back in the day. Like Space Tree.
Oh my god.
Or Space Tree.
I mean, the big one was like Homestar Runner, which is like
it was like Homestar Runner was the golden child, and then there were like a whole bunch of ones that were so much worse. I still watch.
Did you? This is my like weird Hail Mary. Did you ever watch Zombie College?
No. Okay. What's Zombie College?
It's terrible. It's awful. But I don't know why it sticks in my mind. Is like, you know, it's one of those like Flash cartoons. And it just had this theme song. It was Zombie College, Zombie College. And I remember it so clearly. It's not good. It's bad. And I have tried to go back and watch it, which you should never do. If you like something as a kid, don't revisit it because it sucks now. Like
it's so much worse when you go back to it. You're like, oh, it must have been like, I mean, I thought it was amazing at the time. I'm sure it's like pretty good. And you're like, this looks like ass.
This looks terrible. The jokes are incredibly problematic.
It's like YouTube videos from 2005. You're like, how? I mean, it wasn't that long ago, and you look, and it's like 5 pixels. It's like the grainiest, smallest video imaginable. It's like, how did we think this was? At the time, it felt like we were watching like full real life on the screen.
Whoa.
Watching the fucking train coming toward us in the theater back then. I don't know. I want to do a Hail Mary pass. So, oh man, what? Oh, but I don't want to. If something like still exists, I don't want to. Okay. What would be like a good? So, what you read a lot of web comics.
Yes.
There's a lot of easy ones. Like you got your like.
You're
Dominic.
I was gonna say Dominic Deegan.
Yeah, that's not my Hail Mary.
Dominic Deegan is still going. I looked it up like a week ago.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Woof.
Did you ever read? Well, speaking of woof, I'll give you 2. There's this one called. There's a weird one. Pupkin.
No, I don't know. Okay, maybe not.
Is it an intentional misspelling of pumpkin?
Yeah, Pupkin was like this really weird
Pupkin.
Not even like good webcomic. He was just like a dog that looked like a pumpkin. Yep, 2005. I'm looking at it right now. I don't know if the site's still up anymore though.
Was it at all like an adaptation or fanfic of The King of Comedy?
No, it was. You know, I found it. Let me just link it. It's really
show us a visual. Pupkin. It's like
Pupkin.
They were all kind of like named that way.
Because I found webcomic, there'd always be like those portals, right? Like,
oh my god! 100. Holy shit!
Did you read this?
Yes.
Ratatouille moment.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this one is weird, like really weird.
Yeah, this goes weird places. I do remember this.
Really weird.
Holy shit.
So that's one. Okay.
Oh my god.
And then another one. I have no idea.
Wait, this is by Bobby Crosby?
Who's Bobby Crosby?
Bobby Crosby. Hold on. Actually, I think if you just Bobby Crosby writes comics, and one of them is this comic Marry Me, which is this webcomic Marry Me, which is it's like a weird early internet era thing.
Did we talk about
it? Got
this
turned into a movie
recently?
with
it. Got turned into a movie, right?
I think it's got. I don't know who's in it, but it's insane.
Isn't it like Bradley Cooper?
Yeah.
So like Sandra Bullock or something? Or wait. So no, it's neither of those people. It's Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson. But did we talk about this?
Yeah, because I remember we were in call when we were like discovering this. Like this was a couple of months ago.
Yeah, okay.
It's insane.
But I don't think I realized at the time that it was the Pumpkin guy.
It's the Pumpkin guy. Yeah, same guy.
Oh shit,
Elvis, what's your weird internet thing that like nobody remembers?
Well, hold on, I have one more thing.
I'm
real quick.
Sorry.
I'm giving
Elvis
time.
Yeah.
Elijah and Azu. Do you know what that is?
Is it the one with like the raccoon?
No, it's like an angel guy and a devil guy. Anyway.
Oh, is it a Sprite comic?
No. Okay. It would probably have looked better as a Sprite comic. It wasn't good.
Jeez.
Anyway, Elvis, do you have one?
I feel like I don't know. I didn't want, get into a lot of webcomics.
It doesn't have to be webcomics. Just what's a...
It doesn't have to be webcomics.
Any thing that was like...
The only thing that came to mind is when you were bringing up like the, other Flash cartoons.
Sure.
And this is definitely not obscure, but like it was definitely like, I think of it as like a C-lister, D-lister. I never liked it, but do you guys remember Foamy the Squirrel?
Yeah.
Oh, I never watched it, but I know what it is.
I had a friend who was obsessed with those. Yeah.
Yeah.
He released a DVD of those, which I thought was insane at the time, even.
I remember, it was high school, and like so many friends just thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. And even then, I was like a pretentious
It looks
snob.
very like proto Invader Zim, Johnny the Homicidal made it. Like it looks very like proto Yonan Vasquez art.
Is this adjacent to like something I also didn't watch, like Salad Fingers?
Salad Fingers, I feel like had more artistic merit, although I wasn't super into that either. It was.
I'm surprised you don't know what Salad Fingers, James.
I don't think I know what Salad Fingers is. I mean, like I know the name because I've heard it so many times from being on, but it's like I don't think I've ever actually looked into this myself.
I've never watched it, but I knew of it.
The one interesting Salad Fingers thing I am privy to is that apparently there was like the dude who made it recently got married to a fan artist who like drew porn of Salad Fingers, and that's how they met.
For him.
Okay.
So
wow.
What a miraculous union there.
True love does exist.
Thank you, fan art porn.
Yeah.
For bringing.
Look, if I ever made something and someone drew fan art porn of it, I'd be like, what is it about my property that you like so much? Like, I'd want to know. I'd be fascinated.
Yeah.
Maybe not marry them, but like.
I'd marry them.
Just right
I'm already
away.
married, but I'll just marry them. Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about Anne Marie.
I'm very lax about it. Yeah. Now, James, you saw on Twitter there was one that you wanted to cover.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just because I thought it was like a fun, silly question. It's probably not a whole discussion, but it's like what historical piece of clothing or whatever would you bring back if you could? And this is
okay.
This is not because I think it's like whoa, that's fucking dope. I would love cod pieces to come back in just like a weird, ridiculous, because it's just such an absurd. It's a dick covering
cod piece.
A cod piece, like it's.
Oh my god! Okay,
It's like what is that?
Is this just like a nut cup, but made of just? Or is it just a fancy?
It's
nut
a
cup?
fancy like dick sheath, like a dick bowl for your pants that is just like ornate, and I just think that's so like. There's not.
You don't lie. You really want this to come back. You're like, I can't wait.
There's not a lot of options. I feel, to show off your dick and balls in a daily context, and
sure.
I just love the idea of it, like some exuberant, like, because what's the easy answer? Oh, I wish capes were back. Fuck capes. Show me that.
Yeah, I do not wish those were back.
The top hat. No.
Oh god, that would have been me like 15 years ago. Maybe not top hats. That's more a David thing. Okay. Elvis, do you have an answer?
No, my take on it is that all the coolest looking clothes for Mystery, it would be way too hot to wear them now. Like
Yeah,
the
that's a big
temperature
problem.
keeps getting hotter every year. So I don't know. Like I don't even like wearing like fucking ties as much anymore. It's just too hot.
That's true. Wow. Elvis without a tie on. Things are changing.
Yeah, casual Elvis. I will admit that and this is not something I would wear. I try because I don't want to get shoved into a locker, but I do look at like cool like and this is very me 1940s like gangster outfits. I'm like,
oh sure,
those are cool.
Yeah.
But if you wear the whole outfit, you know what I mean?
Like if you're confident enough to wear anything, like I'd be like, wow, that's kind of a look. Like, okay, he's working it, sure.
Yeah. That's the problem with like a fedora, right? Is if you only wear a fedora, that you're not putting any effort into it. It doesn't work.
Oh man.
But if you're wearing a full fucking suit and tie and everything, like right now, I'm just for some reason I've Googled Cillian Murphy from
Peaky
Blinders.
Peaky Blinders.
But he looks great. He's not even wearing a fedora. He's wearing one of those what do you call those hats?
A bowler.
It's not a bowler. It's what is he wearing?
Maybe.
What do you call that? It's like a
trilby.
Like a fucking. Is this trilby?
No, okay. Whoa,
Trilobite.
If it's
God.
Peaky,
Are you a guy who knows what a trilby is? I don't want.
That's the problem. Is like it's been accosted upon me because I made fun of fedoras once, and they're like, actually, what you're thinking. I'm like, no, it's not. What I don't give a shit. I don't know if you've ever
a newsboy cap.
Oh yeah, like
That's
a
what this
newsie,
is.
like
Yeah.
a Kangol. I think they're called now. Oh, that's the brand anyway.
A kegel.
A Kangol?
Yeah, that's the brand of. I swear this is real and not like a James Bedia thing.
Spell it. Kangol?
Kangol. Kangol. That's the brand of like that. They make hats like that.
This isn't what I'm talking about.
Oh, peas. Oh, shit.
Wait. What? These are like fucking like. No. Oh, no. Okay, maybe they make them. No. I guess that's one of. It seems like they make a wide variety of
Very
hats,
compelling
and that's
content.
one of them. So, I wouldn't call them all Kangols. They're called newsboy caps.
Okay.
And a newsboy cap. My grandpa used to wear a newsboy cap.
Let's see.
He pulled it off quite well because he was a dignified. Older gentleman.
Sold the news on the corner. Yeah.
He didn't, but he looked good.
Probably a
I feel like
country
my
penny.
dad is also very like he can pull off like. He never? No, he wears a hat actually sometimes. Yeah. Because he wears like a full fucking suit and jacket and everything.
Yeah.
He's a very. He is that. Meanwhile, I wear a Mario shirt and jeans. Like I can't. I'm not qualified.
The look my dad pulled off like all the time was like suspenders and like a flannel, like a lumberjack sort of like prospector look. Like, and it was like, oh, you're just like a cool old guy wearing this. Not like, if I wore it to be like, what's this fucking clown doing? Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Fucking take it away.
I'm curious what my dad's fashion will be like. Because when he's a pastor, so like when he goes to work, he has to dress like get a nice suit or whatever. But he's gonna retire soon, and so I'm like, because he does dress casually outside of that, but I'm like, oh, if he just never has to wear suits again, like on the regular, like, is he gonna start like finding a new look? Like I think he's gonna start going like. He's ready for golf at any time. I think that's gonna be the look, like golf wear. He fucking loves to golf.
That's great, yeah.
But yeah, another thing I was obsessed with as a kid was I thought monocles were so interesting because of like, this is very random,
Sure.
but You remember Cinderella, Disney Cinderella, the Duke?
I do,
that character?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The taller blue guy, he had a monocle. I was just like, what is that? Like, why does he have that? It's like, that's weird. I think actually wearing a monocle is a fucking nightmare. I don't know if either of you have tried to.
Yeah.
It's awful, but in the cartoons, it looks very easy to wear.
How do you
and also,
actually
you look
wear it?
cool.
I've only ever seen them.
Elvis, have you ever like done that like trick where it's like you hold a quarter with your eye socket? You like, I don't know. It's like you have to grip it with your eyebrow and your cheek.
Jeez, it's like a permanent
Yeah.
scowl is basically
Yes.
what you're stuck with.
That's why
Jeez.
you look like that when you're wearing a monocle. It's why you look evil. Yeah.
Yeah, ask Wilco. Like, yeah, it's not comfortable at all.
No. It's quite bad.
So there's no real practical use for it, but cartoon characters look cool.
That's why when they gasp and their eyes go wide, the monocle falls out.
it pops out.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
My word. Yeah.
Did you have? I guess now let's dive into like the cartoon route then. Was there anything? It can be clothes, or it can be like or mannerisms or things that you were like in cartoons. You're like, oh, that looks cool. For example, the classic one for a lot of people is smoking. Right? They're like, oh
yeah.
man, smoking looks so cool.
It does.
It does look cool. Kids don't smoke, but it does look really fucking cool. I was having a conversation not that long ago, actually pretty recently, where we were like, man, remember in school when you would like have like a fucking like a pretzel stick in your mouth and you pretend you were smoking, or then if it was like a cold winter day, you could even like blow the smoke out.
Yeah. It's like I think I've told you guys. I'll tell the audience now. One of the most poignant conversations I ever had with my father, because he was a man of few words, is he said to me, he would call me boy instead of my name. I said, boy, like smoking will make you look really cool, but you'll fucking die. And I'm like, oh, and like and that was it. So the trade-off was up to me. It's like I could look really cool and die, or I could look lame and live forever. So I chose to smoke. Don't smoke, kids.
You do look pretty cool.
I'll live forever.
Yeah.
I'll outlive everybody. I don't know why I was on this thread. There was like some kind of thread I was reading. It was about like, I think chewing tobacco or something. I just get into weird fucking threads sometimes.
Sure.
I think it was me being like, because I've never like chewed tobacco or anything. So I was like, what does it taste like?
Bad.
Does it? What is it? What do you think it tastes like?
Like tobacco. Like it just
What
tastes.
does tobacco taste like?
Kind of like dirt and your own. It's just you drool. Like it's very wet. I've chewed tobacco once because I'm like, I want to try. I want to be like the big league chew. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I tried it because it's like the thing is I don't smoke anymore, but I used to. And it's like I didn't want to smoke cigarettes because they're so bad for you. How about chewing tobacco? I like nicotine.
I hear chewing tobacco is almost worse, but go ahead.
It's so terrible. And it's messy. You have to, because it's like, you're just, it's gross.
So
it tastes bad.
Were you about to say it tastes like dirt in your own spit?
Yeah, kind of.
Wow. I will never, that should be what the no smoking people put on. James Roach says, yeah, it kind of tastes like dirt in your own spit. Like, I think that's a good enough PSA to not do it. But anyway, in this thread I was reading, they were like, oh, like what kind of flavors of chewing tobacco do you like? And then the guy was like, oh, well, I've been doing it for years, blah, blah, blah. And these are good, these are good, these are good. But he's like, but if you've never done it, don't do it. Just like straight up was like, don't do it. You're just going to die earlier. Like the addictiveness of the nicotine is just so insane. If I had known, I would not have done it. Don't do it. I was like, oh wow, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But anyway, that went down a weird direction. But are there any things from cartoons that you were like, oh man, this is cool, and maybe even mimicked in real life? I have another answer too, but I'm curious what any of you...
Elvis, what do you got? I want to hear from you.
It's hard to mimic in real life, but I've definitely spent a lot of mental and occasional actual physical energy trying to create sort of just the kind of the layout of like a secret passageway or an evil lair or something. Obviously not really easy to do in reality, but like
sure,
trying to incorporate like this, stuff like the egg hunts and the little escape room ish puzzles, a secret bookcase sort of thing. I've always wanted to have some sort of like secret panel or something.
Similar vein. Elvis, did you ever, because that's actually, I hadn't thought of that and I agree. Did you ever booby trap anything? For no one in particular, but just cause? Like, because it made you feel cool to do so?
I mean, it's very typical, but like certainly shook up like beer cans or soda cans when I was a kid. I don't think I can't think of it. Well, okay, there are. That's not true because I've definitely like placed fake spiders everywhere just to fuck with people.
You still do that. I was in your bathroom not that long ago, and there was it a giant spider or something in the bathtub, or it was something like that, and I was like, my God, this guy. Oh my God.
That's my scrubbing spider.
So if you had a secret, okay, so let's say you get you get your dream house, and what is it? What is the one secret? Is it the classic like remove a book and it makes it like it revolves, or like design your perfect secret passage?
Well, I don't want to give it away because eventually, I want you
God.
to complete this puzzle. But no, I don't know, something. Yeah. Either like it wouldn't be like you pull one book and it moves, because I would want it to be you have to like know a sequence or something. So maybe something closer to, you play certain keys on a piano, but I don't know enough about music to really pull that one off, I don't think. But God, I don't know, maybe like you have to make two statues look at each other from across the room, and then a light turns on or something. But yeah, I would just want the first floor of the dream house to basically be like a Resident Evil Zelda dungeon thing, where in order to get to like the living room or the kitchen and just hang out, you have to get through this like ridiculous puzzle.
It's like, invite us over for dinner, but show up early. Sort of backdoor, like it all.
I'm just imagining you going through the motions every morning. Like, okay, lift the torch, light the torch, and then the turtle snaps this, and then okay.
Here we go. Shrine of the Silver Monkey. All right, we're here.
Okay, and then you throw it, roll the bowling ball, and make sure it hits this. Now that's a good answer, James. For me, one of my favorite toys as a child. It's not really booby trapping, but it's adjacent. I saved up enough, I think it was like cereal box things or whatever.
Sure.
And I got a spy, what do you even call it? Like a spy detector. So like what it was it was essentially like, it had, imagine like I didn't watch Doctor Who, but like, like a Dalek, like a Dalek has like the top dome ahead and like a sort of thing sticking out.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Just imagine one little one of those, and you turn it on, and it would have like an invisible sensor, like so anything that walked across that sensor and it would ring. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So like, if I didn't want somebody to come into my room or go somewhere, I would like tape it onto a wall or something, and like if they cross it, I would like you did, or like if I had to protect something,
right?
You can like tape it to a door, and like if they open the door, it would ring. Like
things are so high stakes when you're a child too.
Yeah, exactly.
If you had to protect something, like what? Like what do you own?
Right, like
and from who?
Yeah. probably from like my mom being like, clean up your fucking shit, you know? Like
I always thought about that because it's like they had those like motion detectors and those like spy kits and stuff like that you could do. It's like, oh, you know, if anyone comes in your, I just thought of like if that happened and my mom came, she'd just be like, turn that off, clean your room.
turn it off, and also you're grounded, or you know, like
what's that noise? Stop it. Oh, yes, mom. Yes, mummy.
Yeah, yes, mummy. I say with my newsboy cap, my kegel or whatever. Okay. And now, is there a topic or question that either of you want to ask or bring up?
I heard a little bit of a rumor about Elvis recently that I would like to confirm in front of everyone. Now that I have you here.
Oh boy.
So there's a little bit of a running joke in our friend group that Elvis eats like a little baby, and I heard you branched out. You've been having like better food recently. You had some dumplings, which I would never assume that you would eat on your own.
Oh my god! Okay. It's not like it's the first time I've had this. And also, this is not a good excuse, but it's the one I've got.
Yeah.
You know, fuck me, I guess, for having parents that never cooked and had no idea what good food was. I'm like your guys' parents.
I'm crying.
But wouldn't it make so? Growing up with like bad cooking, wouldn't that make you want to try different foods more?
No, yes, but like my limited palate is all I was ever exposed to.
We just love.
I don't know if I think it might just be you. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Did the person who still routinely thinks that their parents' cooking is the absolute most delicious food they've ever had? You can speak to my experience.
Kind of, because I was the pickiest kid in the world as a kid. Like I might have been. I mean, you were probably pretty picky too. But the level that you are picky, that was me my entire childhood. I would not eat any vegetables at all. I just none. Even fruit, I wasn't that crazy about.
Really, fruit.
And actually, fruit I don't care about now because I don't really. Some sweets aren't really my thing. Like I like fruit fine, but I'm never gonna go out of my way to get fruit. But yeah, like it was a big, not like a problem, but I definitely did not appreciate like what my mom could cook, because if it had like fucking an onion in it, I was like, no, I don't want it. Like I eat fucking like, I'd be like, make me like scrambled eggs and like fucking toast and just boring. Like I look back on it and I'm like, I could have eaten other things that she can make now. Like now I love all food. And that just stemmed from me in maybe high school, middle school, just getting more interested in food.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but before, I would say from middle school prior, it was a big, like we would go to like a big gathering and there's all this great Korean food and I don't want to eat any of it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I think that's like an
I want to eat beef and rice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a very like ethnic kid thing growing up where it's like, I just want a peanut butter jelly sandwich, mom. All the other kids got one. And it's like, make it yourself then, dipshit. And I'm like, oh, I don't really know how to do it. All right, let's not be hasty.
Yeah. But that doesn't not that I'm trying to like discredit your experience, Elvis. But like, so you, I am curious, because vegetables now, is it just you don't like? Is it the bitterness? What about it? Is it like kind of like you're like, it's just not for me?
I mean, it depends on what it's in. If it's in something that's tasty, that I think is tasty, obviously.
Sure.
It's not, like I always think that, basically any vegetable can work in soup because it's just completely the texture and the taste is gone. But if I have to touch like a raw carrot, I will die.
I don't like raw carrots either, actually.
The joke that we make, which is the joke we make about Elvis,
disgusting.
which isn't true, is that he just eats candy all the time. Like, what do you eat? Just candy? No,
pizza is also involved.
Pizza, nuggets, I think was the other one that I was like, I know he likes nuggets.
Yeah, I think
if you could find it in a kid cuisine, it was okay. Making fun
I'm curious though. So first, what foods recently have you made any breakthroughs on any food? Because that's also something where there might be a food where I have it for the first time and I don't particularly like it that much. I'm like, it's okay, or I don't really like that. But then you have it a couple times, and I'm like, I'm kind of starting to get it. Like, like it kind of builds up like that. Is there any food like that recently or semi-recently for you, where you have grown to actually like something you didn't like?
Mustard for me. I used to hate mustard, and now I have like 6 different kinds of mustard in my fridge.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. How about you, Elvis?
Nothing comes to mind that it's like something that I really disliked and now like. That has happened recently. Like I routinely do try, things that I know I've disliked in the past. It's just usually like, oh yeah, this still doesn't do it for me. Sometimes I will like it less. Like, I've had a lot more well prepared good fish lately, but even on the whole, most of the time I'm like, fish just not really for me.
Is it the just overall fishiness?
Yeah, usually.
The briny fishiness. I think that takes kind of like.
How are you with like
taste?
Just like a classic like fish and chips, like cod, like that. Do you like that?
Yeah, that's I guess much more my.
That's pretty
pace,
mild,
you could say.
Or someone's favorite sandwich, the Filet-O-Fish. That's not a joke. It is. That's your favorite.
I love the Filet-O-Fish. Yeah. Yeah, because I can understand. Well, no, I can't understand, but I can wrap my head around. Listen, I have to talk to Jay all the time. I know seafood.
Wow, sorry, Jay. That's you, I guess.
But I do also, recognize that there are some fish that are pretty strong. Like I love anchovies, but I get that that's not an everybody food.
I was just talking to my roommate about this like 20 minutes ago, or I guess 20 minutes ago I was talking to you guys. I don't like lobster. It's too much work for too little meat that doesn't taste that good. What it's like, and it's expensive.
Well,
like, I can get a piece of chicken for like half the price, and it's more of it, and I don't have to break open a small bug or like a huge sea bug to get to it. Now if it's
if lobster were just given to you on a plate,
then it's fine. Like I don't hate lobster. It's like I love lobster bisque. Delicious.
Okay.
But it's just like
I like crab better than lobster, but I think comparing lobster and chicken doesn't make sense to me. I think unless it's like they're too different. Like,
well, no,
I love
they're
a good
very,
chicken. I love a good chicken thigh. But chicken breast to me is the biggest waste of time
who cares?
Imaginable.
Get out of here with chicken breast.
It is just guaranteed to be bland.
You have to do so much to it to make. Whereas chicken thigh, you can do basically anything to it. It still tastes good and it's juicy still.
Now, Elvis, are there any foods that you're like, I kind of want to like get into this or learn to like it, or are you like,
I mean, I kind of want to get into any food, so I keep getting harassed by my friends. So I don't keep getting harassed by them. It's just not really in the cards for me. I don't know. Like, who wouldn't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm way more into fucking kale. Now that's all I want to eat.
That fair enough, yeah.
Okay, but don't pick kale. on all the.
Wish I were into leafy greens.
Yeah, kale is already like that's just for healthy. You know what I mean? Like, have you had arugula?
I definitely have had it, but it's indistinguishable from like kale in my head right now.
That's so interesting because arugula is pretty good. It's peppery. It's kind of meaty. It's like good. Kale is just pure. I want to eat healthy. Like, I don't dislike kale, like, because I like leafy greens, but I would much rather eat like arugula or like or spinach.
If you're gonna go for a leafy green, I always go for baby spinach. I think it's the best tasting, and it's Popeye likes it, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, out of curiosity then, because you don't like you're not a sushi guy, right?
No.
What have you had? Have you had most of them, or enough to know that you're like it's not your thing?
Enough to know, and it's another thing that I've tried, every couple of years. I haven't had it since pandemic, I guess. So maybe I'm due, but yeah.
I think what's important is that you are at least trying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because something that I find annoying is when people are just like picky, but they're not even gonna try it. You know what I mean? They're just like, it looks gross. I don't want to eat it. It looks gross. It's like, try it first. If you don't like it, that's fine. Nobody has to like every fucking food. There are foods I don't like. Like everyone's gonna have their preferences. But I think it's good that you are at least, because I'll do that sometimes too. Sometimes there'll be a food I'm not like super crazy about. You know what, your relationship with food, this is an exact parallel, but I'll eat, like, for me it's booze. I don't really like booze that much. Like, and it's not really like like I don't drink. Like, I do every now and then. Hey, I really want to try it. You want to try this? And then I do, and sometimes I'm like, oh, pretty good. Sometimes I'm like, I don't like that at all. But there's never been a booze where I'm like, I need to have this again and again.
It's probably
like this stuff I like I like a good Bloody Mary because it's savory, right? I like the burn of whiskey, right? I like certain, I think the thing I probably like the most is like a good refreshing beer in the right circumstance.
Right. Paired with a good meal. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. Soju's really good.
Okay. Because soju doesn't taste like alcohol.
Yeah, soju is light. Yeah, soju is straight up just like, and if you get like peach soju, it's like, oh, I'm drinking candy water. Like, it's great.
And then just an hour later, you're like, oh my god,
this is gonna make me sound like a baby, but that's okay. I already made fun of Elvis. I can be made fun of. I was reading about what was it? James is gonna be like, oh my god, you child. Was it what's the one? Oh, I was like, I've never had a vodka martini, or a martini. And I assume you've had many martinis in your life.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, like, you put olives in it, and for like a dirty martini. I'm like, I like olives. Let me like try that. And so I got the stuff and took a sip. I was like, nope. I don't like this at all.
Yeah. No, that's disgusting. Okay. I hate I don't like martinis. Like, I don't like vermouth, and it's just yeah.
It's like, Elvis, you've never drank before, right? No. By choice.
Yeah. Good.
I honestly don't think you're missing out. Like,
you're not.
It's just because how do you feel about coffee?
Coffee's actually, that's another thing. I guess that would be my answer now that I'm thinking about it, of a thing I wish I liked but can't actually get into.
Oh, there's a functional
you have your
use
first
to it.
Coffee and it's super gross. At least for most people, right? It's like bitter and you're like, ugh, right?
Yeah.
That's just alcohol, but like all the time.
It never gets better. Yeah.
Yeah, because I like coffee, and I like black coffee. That's usually how I prefer it, actually.
Yep.
Because I like it. I can prefer like a nice, bitter, earthy, that kind of flavor. But like alcohol, every time I have even a good mixed drink or whatever, I'm like, man, I wish the alcohol wasn't in it. Like, take out the alcohol. I just have to have a nice spicy tomato juice. That would be pretty good.
You just want a V8. You just want a clamato.
Yeah, dude, spicy V8 is the best. That's what I want. Like, those fruity mixed drinks that taste really good, that like Anne-Marie always gets. I'm like, pretty good. Just take out the alcohol, and this would taste amazing.
I actually love
I could have
V8.
like 5 of these.
It's a drink that would kill Elvis immediately. Just obliterate Elvis. A V8. It's just kill.
Have you had a V8 before?
I have had V8. It's actually, it doesn't, I like it. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I know we like to make fun of you, but he eats normally, folks. Like, he's a normal guy.
Oh, no, fine. We don't have to go that far. Look, no one is.
No, he's wild and crazy.
No one
I've
is
had
less
fried chicken
pleased.
with him. It's fine.
No one is less pleased with the shortcomings of my eating habits than me. But that said, I'm flawless elsewhere as an individual. So you got to take.
Yeah, no, that's
Sure.
true.
You got to take one L on the chin.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone has a weakness, right? I think for me, it's my embarrassing lack of knowledge of music, of popular music.
I was going
of
to say
kind.
music. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't fucking know anything. People, I go to karaoke and everyone's singing the song. I'm like, I've never heard this in my fucking life. What the fuck is this? It wasn't in a AMV or
Oh God. What anime
really,
opening is this?
Yeah, what anime opening is this? I don't know what this is. Okay. So that was James's. Elvis, do you have a topic or question you want to bring
What are you going to roast me about?
Yeah, I mean, here's your chance, I guess. You could roast him.
Set myself
No,
up
that's
for
too
this.
easy. That's like shooting fish I want to eat in a barrel.
Damn.
I did. This just kind of sprung to mind when we were talking about childhood stuff and like pranks and shit. But I just wanted to ask, do you guys is there a thing or a moment that you remember where you got like the most in trouble when you were a kid?
Yes.
Ooh.
What was that?
Okay, you go first.
I have it ready to go because I set our stairs on fire because I was playing with fireworks that I one shouldn't have had the fireworks. Two,
How old were
have
you?
I was like 6 or 7.
Okay, yeah.
And they weren't like even cool fireworks. They were the twirlers. They were the little ground spinners.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like lighting them, and I got in trouble for it already because I lit them on the in that like the cement outside, and it like left a burn mark. And my mom was like, "Who did this?" And I blamed my older brother because he didn't live with us. And it's like, he must have done it when he was here last weekend. It's like, ooh. And then so I was like, well, I can't do it on the pavement. I better do it on these wooden stairs. These like wooden stairs built in the 1800s of this whatever house we were renting at the time. It just burnt them down.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the most trouble I've ever been in. And I paid quite dearly for it. That's why I only have one eye. No.
It's why I only have 3 fingers. Elvis, you go. I'm trying to think of.
Okay, you may have heard this story before, Song One. James, I'm very sure you have.
Maybe.
But this was it was when I was in high school. I think it was junior. And I had this video production class, and it was like the end of the year. We were doing like a big short film. Like I was taking it really seriously. The whole concept was, these high school students are running a lemonade stand outside, their house, on the street. So, we were shooting outside and in my neighborhood, right outside my house. So and then we were like, okay, we're going to shoot the ending. And the big thing with the ending was, it's going to be like this turf war between another lemonade stand, and it's going to get ridiculous and crazy. And like, we're going to, my friend, he's got airsoft guns, and we're going to like get, all these cool weapons, and it's going to be like a Tarantino standoff. And I was like, okay, that's a very serious thing. We're going to have, they're all toy weapons, but we're going to have them outside. So I'm going to make sure to go to all my neighbors nearby and be like, hey, we're shooting a thing. It's going to be this day, we're going to have some weapons, but it's just for a school shoot, just to, just to give people a heads up. I wanted to make sure, nobody called the cops or anything like that. Be very safe. And then, so, I hit up everything, I had talked to the teacher about it, and everything was, looking good. And then my friend, he brought over the props, in the morning. We put them in my bedroom, and then rode to school, and we'd come like halfway through the day to shoot it. So I'm like in the middle of like English class or something, and then all of a sudden I get pulled out of the class. I'm like, you have a call. at the principal's office. I'm like, what's going on? And I go and I answer the phone, and it's my mom, and she's like, Elvis, what are these guns doing in your bedroom?
You've never told me the story.
The one person you forgot to tell was your own.
Yeah. She thought I was gonna go full school shooter.
Oh my god.
I can't believe I didn't. So, like, when I found out what was going on, I couldn't stop laughing either, which did not help the case.
Yeah, no, that's.
So.
Holy shit.
We had to scrap that ending and shoot something much more subdued.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Like, that was the scariest phone call I've ever had.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, I can't top that. I do have one, I think. Oh, I don't think I've ever told this story. Oh, God. Okay. But, fuck it. Why not? So, it's not even that bad, but just, like, the memories of it are still so, like, you'll see why in a second.
Oh, boy.
So, back in the early days, you're on the internet, and sometimes you're going on sites you shouldn't be going on,
like Lemmy's Land,
sure,
like Lemmy's Land or pornography sites. And so basically, at the time, this is a separate little sidetrack, but when I found out as a kid that your internet browser kept all your
oh my god, yeah,
data and whatever, I was like, what? So I made it a ritual to delete everything, like wipe history every time, right? But the thing is, I thought I was doing that exactly right every time. These are back in the days when you don't have your own computer. You got to use a family computer,
sure,
right? God, I really hope my parents. There's no way they're listening to this, but I really hope they're not. But anyway, I didn't know that even if you delete cookies and delete all the history and delete everything, there's still one thing where it still caches images,
right,
in a folder. I think it's a separate thing.
You had to clear those temp folders. Yeah, I remember
temp folders. That's what it was.
Yep.
Oh my god. Oof. So didn't know that. And then what was the exact, something happened where my dad, like through like email or whatever, maybe it just opened up to a temp folder or something, or no, what it was somebody sent him an email. But for some reason, I don't know how this even happened, but like, or maybe, okay, my guess now, because I never actually tried to piece this together. My guess is somebody sent him an email, and then he was trying to download something, and it opened up to the temp folder, right, or something like that. And it is just filled with filth. Just absolute, like... And
just the nastiest pornography imaginable.
And he was just like, what is that? And it was the most ball shrivelingly like tense conversation, because at first, because I knew what was going on, I was like, oh my god, there's, for some reason, none of them got deleted and it's all in there. And so it's like both of my parents are like, first, like, asked me, do you know what, like, did you... My dad definitely knew it was me, but he was at first, like, because he was pissed, but and I was, like, scrambling to think of some kind of excuse. But then, like, I think that I, like, lied enough for argue, like, whatever, and then he was like, maybe it was, like, somebody, like, because it was from a parent, so it's like, was it from them? And then I was like, okay, I can't let like another kid get dragged into this first, because they're just gonna I don't want that to happen. And also, they're just gonna say no, and then it's gonna come back to me. So, oh god. So, I don't remember the exact details, but I basically said something along the lines of like, I was searching for something else. I think I said it was like a math thing or something.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, but I clicked the wrong thing, and it was just this site, this site that had all this stuff on it. Looking back, there's no way they believed me at all. But I think they saw just how distressed I was, because I was like mortified. It's the worst it's the worst possible situation for that kind of thing. Of all people, it's like, you don't want your parents to see that.
You don't want your pastor father to discover.
Yeah, and I think they were just both like, okay, like, just okay, I think my mom like kind of like was like, okay, we'll believe you, even though like my dad was like, this fucking kid. And so I didn't get any like consequences afterward, but I almost would have rather had that than having to go through that experience. It was so bad. It still gives me just fucking chills, like, not chills, but like, your stomach, like, like, I hate this. Like, it was bad. And I don't think I've ever told that story before, at least not to you guys.
It's funny.
So
wow,
there's that.
It's a great story.
It's oof.
Can I ask,
what were you gonna say?
How many images of Bulma were included?
How many images of Bulma? I'm sure there were a couple in there. I'm sure I'm sure it was a mix.
In a similar vein, I was actually just talking about a similar with a friend of ours who I won't out on the podcast.
But you'll tell us afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I feel like you probably guess.
Yeah.
But back when we were younger, the internet was very slow, and on like dial-up connections, it took 20 minutes to look at one picture.
Sure.
And so what you would do as a curious young child who wants to see one, maybe two boobs in their life, you would start like downloading, I guess, the picture, like loading the picture in the browser, and get up and go do something.
Oh no.
That's a fool's errand, but okay. And
so I found out that, another friend of ours is similar in age to me, like also was discovered this way, like, because that topic came up, was like, when did your parents discover you were a disgusting deviant? And I was like, oh, actually, and then, he told that story, and I was like, holy shit, that happened to me too. I forgot that you're like, I'm gonna load it, I'll be back later, because it's like, God. And you would save things.
You guys are fucking nuts. Yeah. I would never do anything like that. You know how quickly I can close an X on a browser just from training? Do you know how? Like, I'm a fucking quick shot. Like, just bam. Like, whoa. Someone walks, bam. I can close the fucking window. That's me. What are you? You're loading a titty and you're walking away, leaving it defenseless? Are you crazy?
Was another tab open at least?
We didn't know. We were kings.
That's insanity.
Jesus.
That's insanity.
Yeah,
I would never. There were so many close calls of me, but I was so good. Oh, okay, this is kind of funny. So like,
oh god, okay.
So like, as soon as the door, I just did it right now. I'm like, I can close that X like nothing. Just from years of my youth. There was, I think, at least one time my dad walked in, and I had closed it, and he's like, "What were you doing?" And I was like, "Nothing." And he's like, "Why did you close the window so fast?" Because you could tell, like, I wasn't just sitting there staring at a piece of fucking wall, desktop wallpaper. And I was like, Nothing. I don't know. I just finished Neopets, or I'm done. I'm just done. He's like, oh my god, like this kid. Thinking back, there's so many times as a kid where I thought, and I'm sure the same thing for you guys, where it's like I definitely thought I got away with a lie, and looking back, I'm like, they knew I was fucking lying, you idiot! Like, oh my god, so much, but yeah. Wow, that took a direction I wasn't anticipating. May I ask, James, for the image you were trying to load, what was it?
I can't. The thing is, it's like I don't remember. I was like, a teenager. Like, who knows? I think the taste back then was like, I'm pretty sure it was like, luckily, because I have no preference for either, way here, but like luckily it was like a female picture, and I didn't out myself to my fucking mom, and when I was 14,
right,
I was like, I think I was a little more secret. Maybe that's why I was less secretive about it. I don't know, but it was just like, woof.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish I could remember. Great way to sign off.
Yeah, this one took a lot of turns. We had Pupkin, we had porn, we had almost school shootings. Wow, it just really covered the gambit.
Yeah, compelling episode.
But yeah, it was a good episode. All right, well, why don't we? Where can people find you? We'll start with Elvis.
You can find me on Twitter at Elvis Kaboom, and SplotStudios.com, or look up Elvis Kaboom or Splot Studios on YouTube.
I'm at Hamesatron on Twitter, and it's good enough.
Well, thank you, boys. Hopefully, we all enjoy our next porn without.
Great.
I know I'll be thinking of you too.
Let's get that. Yeah.
Boy.
I'll be thinking of you two as well from now on.
Well, shucks.
Time. Oh, shucks. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.